Attention passionate Buffalo, BILLSFANS. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Buffalo Bills' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Buffalo Bills fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Buffalo, BILLSFANS. Let's get to the news, all right. Folks, buckle up, because there's a swirling buzz in NFL circles that could shake up the AFC East in a way we haven't seen in years. Rumors are swirling that the Las Vegas Raiders might be willing to part ways with one of their most disruptive forces on defense, Max Crosby, and the potential trade scenario is turning heads, especially among Bills fans eager to bolster their pass rush. According to some speculative reports, including insights from Diana Rossini, the Raiders are considering trading Crosby to the Bills in exchange for a second-round pick in the 2026 draft. Now, I know what you're thinking. Sounds wild, right? But stay with me, because there's a lot more beneath the surface here that could make this move not just interesting but a game-changer for both teams. The Raiders, sitting at a disappointing 2-8 record, are clearly in rebuild mode. They're also dealing with a hefty cap situation, with around $14 million in cap space, which makes any big contracts or extensions a challenge for now. And let's be honest, they're in a tough spot, their defense struggling mightily, giving up an average of 25. 3 points per game, which is way above the league average and a sign of a team desperately trying to stay afloat amid chaos. The defense's recent struggles, especially after losing key players and dealing with injuries, have only amplified the pressure. Their front, which used to be formidable, now looks more like a sieve, and the emergence of Crosby as a true game wrecker has only highlighted their defensive fragility. Now, Crosby himself has been a force of nature in 2025. With 26 solo tackles, 16 assists, and a staggering 42 combined tackles, he's been relentless. Not to mention his 6 sacks, 33 sacks yards, and even an interception returned for 19 yards, he's all over the field. His PFF grade, an impressive 93.5, which screams elite, especially when considering his win rate of 28%, EPA per snap of -0.15, and a double-team rate of 25%. That's a guy who demands constant attention, and with his ability to generate pressure, he's been a cornerstone of the Raiders' defense, until recently, when the team's overall performance has dipped. Injuries early in the season, specifically in Week 3, limited his snaps, but after returning in Week 10, Crosby quickly proved he's still a game-changer, racking up 3 sacks and forcing 8 big hits in just a few games. His pressure rate, an incredible 22%, makes him one of the most disruptive pass rushers in the league, and he's been instrumental in forcing turnovers, raising the Raiders' defensive chaos level. But here's where it gets interesting. The Raiders are in cap hell, and their rebuild seems to be taking a more aggressive turn, with the team sitting at the bottom of the AFC West and their offense averaging just over 15 points per game. It's clear they're in a full rebuild mode. Their defense, which used to be a strength, has now become a liability, giving up over 30 points per game and struggling to stop opponents consistently. The team's recent struggles and poor defensive metrics suggest that shedding Crosby could be part of a broader strategy to free up cap space, especially with some pending extensions, like Adams, looming on the horizon. Now let's pivot to the Bills. People are talking that Buffalo's front is set to become even more disruptive in 2026, with an expected increase of about 12 sacks in total, thanks to the addition of Crosby and the continued development of Greg Rousseau. Rousseau, who's been an emerging star himself with an 84 PFF grade, would form a dangerous duo with Crosby, elevating the Bills' pass rush to new heights. Their combined pressure could push the Bills' total pressure rate up by around 22%, and their impact would help reduce the points allowed, potentially lowering the Bills' current 22.9 points per game allowed down to closer to 19. The pressure generated by these two could also mitigate issues caused by injuries or limited snaps from other key players like Von Miller, who's been out since Week 5, and the rest of the defensive line that's been operating with limited depth. This upgraded pass rush is not just about sacks. It's about disrupting opponents' offensive rhythm, forcing hurried throws, creating turnovers, and ultimately swinging games in the Bills' favor. The potential addition of Crosby would be a massive boost, not only in terms of raw talent, but also morale. Imagine a Bills defense that can consistently pressure the quarterback, generate more sacks, and create turnovers. This could be the missing piece to elevate Buffalo from a solid team to a true Super Bowl contender. Looking at the bigger picture, the playoff odds for the Bills are already impressive, but with Crosby in the mix, those odds could shoot up even more, possibly from plus 850 to plus 450, a significant jump that speaks to their improved chances of making a deep playoff run. His ability to disrupt opponents like Tua Tagovailoa, who's been lighting up the league with over 23 points per game, would be a nightmare for opposing offenses. The Bills' front, with a duo like Rousseau and Crosby, would be comparable to some of the best in the league, like the Rams' Aaron Donald in his prime, causing chaos and forcing turnovers at critical moments. Of course, all of this hinges on whether the Raiders are truly willing to part with Crosby. Given their current situation, it's not out of the realm of possibility. They're in a long-term rebuild, trying to reset after a disappointing season. Moving Crosby, a proven disruptive force, could help them acquire draft capital to rebuild their roster and clear cap space, especially as they look to retool their offense around a new quarterback or rebuild their defense from scratch. For the Bills, acquiring Crosby would be a statement move, signaling that they're all in for another deep playoff run, maybe even a Super Bowl. It's about stacking the deck, adding elite talent to complement their existing core, and building a defense that can dominate for years to come. The Bills have already made strides this season, with their defense improving significantly, especially after Von Miller's suspension in Week 5. Their sack total, currently at 28, could see a sharp rise with the addition of Crosby, making their pass rush one of the most feared in the league. Now, let's talk about the implications. If Buffalo manages to pull off this trade, it would send shockwaves through the AFC. It would certainly raise their profile in the playoff picture and make them even more dangerous come January. The AFC is already stacked, with teams like the Chiefs, Dolphins, and Ravens all fighting for supremacy, but the Bills' upgraded pass rush could be the difference maker. Crosby's ability to generate pressure and create turnovers in critical moments cannot be overstated. His presence on the field would force offensive lines to double-team him, freeing up Rouse and others to get after the quarterback. The ripple effect of such a move would also extend to division rivals. The Jets and Dolphins, who are already fighting hard in the AFC East, would face an even tougher challenge trying to keep up with a Bills team that has added an elite pass rusher. It could even push the Bills as favorites in the division, especially if they continue their solid offensive performance, averaging nearly 2 points per game, and maintain their strong special teams play. And for the Raiders, this trade might be a sign of things to come, rebuilding from the ground up, shedding veteran talent to focus on future assets, and trying to reset the franchise's direction. Crosby, who has been a cornerstone of their defense, might be the first domino to fall in what could be a long and arduous rebuild. His departure would leave a void, but it could also open the door for young players to step up and develop, which is vital when building for the future. As we look ahead, the possibility of Crosby donning the Bills' colors is a tantalizing prospect. It's not just about adding another star, it's about transforming their defense into a relentless, high-pressure unit that can carry them through the playoffs. The Bills have shown they're willing to be aggressive, making bold moves when the opportunity presents itself. This potential trade fits right into that mold, a move that could define their championship aspirations for years to come. So buckle up, Bills Mafia. The upcoming weeks could be the most exciting in recent memory, with a real shot at reshaping the AFC landscape. Keep your eyes peeled because if this trade happens, it'll be one of the biggest moves of the season, and it could be the catalyst for Buffalo's next Super Bowl run. The Bills' defense would become an even more formidable force, and with Crosby's game-changing ability, they'd be setting the stage for a serious shot at the title. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Buffalo Bills news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. Looking at the bigger picture again, this move isn't just about one player or one team. It's about the balance of power in the AFC, and Buffalo seems poised to take a giant leap forward if they can land Crosby. The potential of a front seven led by Rousseau and Crosby is enough to make any offensive coordinator nervous. Their combined pressure would force teams into hurried throws, increase turnovers, and help the Bills dominate time of possession, key factors in playoff football. Furthermore, the ripple effect on the AFC playoff race would be significant. The Bills, already sitting comfortably in playoff positioning, could become a genuine contender to challenge the Chiefs, Dolphins, and others atop the conference. A pass rush like this could be the difference in tight games, especially in January when every sack, every turnover, and every big play counts. The Bills' current defense has been solid, but adding a disruptive force like Crosby could elevate their game to another level, turning them into a true Super Bowl favorite. And let's not forget the emotional and leadership impact. Crosby, with his relentless motor and passion on the field, would bring a new energy to the Bills' locker room. His presence would inspire the younger guys, push the veterans to perform at their best, and elevate the overall standard of play. That kind of leadership is invaluable when the stakes are high, and it could be the spark that ignites this Bills team to finally break through and get over the hump. In the end, all signs point to the fact that the NFL offseason is shaping up to be one of the most exciting in recent memory, and Buffalo fans should be on the lookout for any official confirmation. The idea of adding Crosby, this disruptive, game-changing edge rusher, to a Bills team already loaded with talent could be exactly what they need to make a serious Super Bowl push. The team's front office has shown a willingness to be aggressive, and this trade scenario fits perfectly with that mindset. It's a bold move, but one that could pay enormous dividends if executed correctly. So as we await more news and see how the offseason unfolds, remember that the Bills are always in the mix, constantly looking for ways to improve and stay ahead of the curve. If they pull this off, it would forever change the narrative, making the Bills not just contenders but outright favorites to bring home their first Lombardi in decades. The next few weeks are going to be critical, so stay tuned, stay passionate, and keep believing, because the Bills' future could be brighter than ever. And now, Buffalo Bills fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and the Buffalo Bills. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Buffalo Bills news.